session, we're going to do a little tour of one channel of the DPM effects so we can get familiar with all the different functions. We're just going to go ahead and start by selecting the DPM in the upper left here. As you can see, the touch screen went to the DPM menu here. We actually have a pretty good menu up here to start. I have going to say create new here. Every time we want to build a new effect, you want to go to a register that is not used, create new, then you want to go, as we talked about with the user keys, user 3 allows me to select the number of channels I want to use in this effect. Global control means that you're going to link those channels together so that you can globally control everything all at once. In this application that we're doing in this session right now, that's not really going to matter because we're only going to talk to a single channel. So I'm going to turn everything else off. We have one channel, and if you noticed, there is an edit enable light that lights right here as soon as you start doing something. So that's pretty handy. I'm also going to come over here to user 4, so I'm creating something brand new, and I'm going to just globally all the way over here to all. That was user 4, so that's miscellaneous defaults. I'm going to default all the parameters just to make sure I'm starting from scratch. And after I've done that, when I've determined what channels I want to use and I reset them all, then I'm going to go to the transform, which I could hit right here, but I also have that on my user button number 1. So we're going to start by taking a little tour here. You can see on the program screen that right now I have graphics A full screen. If I come over here, the first thing we'll look at is size. It's probably the easiest to understand right away. We can see that I can resize that just by turning the knob. So I'll know what I'm working on. I can just hit size and hit 0.5 so that I know I'm going to be half the screen, and bam, there you have it. That's 50% high and 50% wide. Now we're going to kind of get used to the coordinate system that Grass Valley uses. In their system, in the 16:9 world, it really makes a lot of sense. In fact, it's probably my favorite coordinate system of all the DVEs or DPMs that I've used over the years. It's actually from the center. If you go 9 units up, you're at the top. If you go 9 units down, or negative 9, you're at the bottom. If you go negative 16, you go to the left edge. If you go positive 16, you go to the right edge. So let's see what that looks like. Right now we have something that's 50% in size, so I'm just going to go into the touch screen here, and I'm going to hit 16 minus. And you can see that left edge is right on the left edge of the raster. So we can just start wandering over here, or if we didn't want to wander, we can come back in and put in 16 positive, and there it is on the other side. If you want to see what that's like when something is full screen, I'll just zero that out for a minute and go full screen. If we go 9 units up, we can see that we'll see half that graphic, so that's the y-axis, 9, and there you see perfectly cut in half. As well, if we change that to negative 9, have the bottom half. And we can zero that back out and put the size back to 0.5 so we can play with a few other things. So that was in the transform window when we are selected on locate. So we'll just take a look at this in 0.5 size, and I'm going to zero out playing around there with the X and the Y. We'll just look at that in 0.5 size and realize I can mess around with the x-axis, mess around with the y-axis. I'm going to put those back to 0 for just a moment. And I can actually move that away from me or toward me. Here is going negative, positive Z moves the graphic away from me. But a lot of the time I find it's just a little easier to use the size. You just remember that when you use the size, the plane of the graphic stays right there on the front of the raster. It doesn't actually, that's going to come into play when we start rotating things, and I'll demonstrate a little bit about what that's like.